our hearing session. Portions are meeting that may come about more realistic and not only. Comments are limited to 2 minutes, maximum of 10 minutes of the governing board, members of the board. We have a new clause. Our commitment to civility, equality, and citizens who are dedicated to and welcoming environment for everyone. Our staff is committed to treating parents and community members with respect, and we kindly ask for the same in return. This commitment ensures our schools and offices remain safe and free from disruption, fostering a positive environment for learning and collaboration. While this policy supports free expression, it also emphasizes the importance of mutual respect and civility. To set an example for our students and community, the district encourages open and positive communication and discourages foul language, hostile, or aggressive behavior. Thank you for partnering with us in promoting a safe and supportive atmosphere for our students, staff, and families. Do you have any speakers?
We do not.
Thank you. So then we can adjourn into closed session at 5:01 p.m. Okay. Good evening, welcome, good afternoon, bienvenidos, Hanik y Masanil, y bienvenidos para mi escuela. The board has returned from closed session and will reconvene into open session at 6 p.m. During tonight's closed session, the governing board discussed and took action on a settlement agreement. The board voted to approve the settlement agreement in the United States District Court, Southern District of California, case number 323-CV-01469-LL-AHG by a vote of 5 in favor. The settlement reflects the board's commitment to resolving matters in a manner that is fair, efficient, and in the best interest of all parties involved, including our students, staff, and the broader school community. That brings us to our flag salute and student presentation, which will be led by students from William H. Frazier Elementary.
Good evening, President Favela, members of the Board of Trustees, Superintendent Hazel, and everyone here today. My name is Ren Bishop, and I am in 3rd grade student at William H. Frazier and a member of this year's Infuse team. At this time, I invite everyone to please stand. Place your right hand over your heart and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. I am excited to be on the Infuse Student Advisory Committee because I want to develop my leadership skills and meet other students from around the district. This evening, we have the honor of recognizing our retiring board members and sharing their legacy of leadership. It is a privilege to celebrate the contributes of Mrs. Suzanne Lundeen and Dr. Constance Fish. Wendy and I had the chance to sit down with both leaders of an interview. Tonight, we will share the lasting impact of their efforts will have on our schools, students, and committee.
Hi, I am Wendy Jose Lucas, a 6th grader at William H. Frazier. Leadership is a critical aspect of Fallbrook Union Elementary School District. We learn how to demonstrate strategies while learning in class and while playing at recess, starting in our TK classes, we either taking responsibilities for our materials and books or helping solve a problem as a table group. We have a leadership opportunities at WHF. I have participated in many leadership activities, and I am proud of my accomplishments, good grades, and hard work in reaching my goals. Perhaps these are programs that you have voted to support as a school board.
Leading in the school district is no small task. From supporting innovative programs and to navigating challenges, the Board of Trustees guides our district with care and wisdom. We are honored to share the highlights of Mrs. Lundeen and Dr. Fish's time on the board. Let's start by celebrating Mrs. Susan Lundeen, who has served on the board for more than 4 years. Mrs. Lundeen's proudest achievements include enhancing student literacy and making all reading at grade level a priority goal. She believes one of her most important decisions was working with her fellow board members to hire Superintendent Hazel and appreciates seeing progress in a student. Achievement. Mrs. Lundeen, I love to read and appreciate your encouragement. This is one of my favorite books that I'm reading. Mrs. Lundeen reflected on the participation she made for each board meeting by saying that she would sometimes spend 20 or 40 hours a week to get ready for one meeting. But she felt like this work was worth it and made her feel smarter and better able to support the district. We thank Mrs. Lundeen for her insight and efforts to create opportunities for students like us and the future students as well.
Now we honor Dr. Constance Fish, who has dedicated many years to education through her professional career as a member of the board for the last year. Dr. Fish shared that she applied to join the board when there was a need. She felt that her experience was valuable, and she learned a lot of new aspects about learning, schools and learning, and she loves to learn. Since joining the board, Dr. Fish has been driving forces behind working as a team. She shared how the board members are willing to listen to each other and talk through issues. She shared that the board members are respectful and ask important questions before making big decisions. One of her most endearing memories was the staff welcome back event. She shared that she was overwhelmed with pride when the teachers and staff were cheering in the new year, excited to get to work and kick off another successful year. She said it was just great to be part of Focused Energy for students.
Together, Mrs. Lundeen and Dr. Fish have shaped our legacy that will continue to inspire our district. The leadership has brought about teamwork and respect. They've also shared their hopes for Fallbrook Union Elementary and our continued success as a district for both staff and students.
In closing, we want to express our heartfelt gratitude to Mrs. Susan Lundeen and Dr. Constance Fish. Your leadership has been a gift to our district, and your legacy will continue to inspire us all.
Here is a short view of their time in FUESD video.
On behalf of the entire Fallbrook Union Elementary School District, we thank you for your service, dedication, and heart. Let's give them a round of applause as we thank them for everything they've done for our schools and community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. It's bigger than I am.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, first I'd like to, one of the things I love about Cultura is and leaders in our community. And I think we can agree that our CCC, Benny, and Ren tonight show those skills here in front of the audience. So I want to give Benny and Ren a certificate. Come on up, let's give you a round of applause.
Dan and I get our picture taken with them. Oh, that would be great. Hold on, I'm slacking on my job here. There we go. We'll have a certificate for you of appreciation. And we'll take another photo with you and your certificate. I'm going to tell the audience that they're going to do that. And nobody told us they were going to do it. All right, one more photo, girls. Come on up. It's such a difficult here. There's the certificate.
All right, we can move on with our agenda. It is recommended the governing board approve the minutes of the November 21st, 2024 regular board meeting. Do I have a motion?
I so motion.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any comments? We'll call for the vote. Trustee Golbeck?
Aye.
Trustee Fish?
Aye.
Trustee McBride?
Aye.
Trustee Lundin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. And then, so we can move on to our community relations and reports from the board. We can begin with Trustee Golbeck.
We don't have it here.
We moved it down.
Okay. So, going on a different agenda. Got it. So I've had the opportunity over the last month to participate in some training. I'm 6 months into my tenure here, and the San Diego County Taxpayers Association hosted a training for newly elected government officials. And we talked about the public good that we provide as school board members. And that's the education of our children, right? And education is a lot of things to different people. But to me, it means helping these wonderful little beings become the best versions of themselves, to learn the skills that they need to go out into the world and make the change they want to make in the world. And our district articulates that in a beautiful way, talking about every 8th grader, right? Because the Fallbrook Union Elementary School District takes care of kids from TK, right? Transitional kindergarten, what used to be called preschool, all the way up to 8th grade. So what do we want those kids at the end of that journey to look like? We want them to be confident, compassionate, courageous leaders who are ready to make a positive impact on their world. And that's awesome, right? That is a community effort. So there's a lot of pieces to that. And at the next training that I went to, the California School Board Association conference, a professor from Yale came up and talked about the psychology of well-being. And as we know, there are a lot of challenges that young people face with well-being, but there are some great things that we can do as a community to support that well-being. And one of the foundational thing was this reapproach to wellness, that happiness leads to success, not the other way around, right? In our conventional wisdom, success leads to happiness. But what she is saying, the data is showing from years of research into this, is that happier students perform better. So when we as a board have these opportunities to make policy that impact these kids, I'm going to be thinking about that. How do we create kids that are stoked to be at school, that are stoked to do this work, that are stoked to learn? And it's exciting that that's the direction that our culture is going. I'm hoping that our community can get behind that and really support that. So thank you.
Well, since this is my last night at the board, I want to share some of my thoughts with you that I hope people take with you in the future. Some of you are aware that my background is that I was a teacher, a principal, assistant superintendent, etc. And I brought that experience with me to being on the board. But being on the board is a very different position than when you're one of the administrators in a school district. And it was really fun to understand and learn the role of the board when I came on the board. My goal has been and continues to be, and I'm thrilled that it is also the goal of the school district, that every child leaves here ready for high school. And I hope that continues to be the utmost goal for this district. And the question then people ask, well, how do you make that happen? Well, you make it happen with using research-based strategies. Not somebody's opinion, but what has been proven to work. And you don't do that by just telling people what those things are. You have to do continually training, you have to coach, and you have to monitor progress. Those three keys absolutely have to be there. And not just for a teacher or for an aide, it's for the superintendent, it's for the principals, it's for everybody having all three of those things: continual training, coaching, and monitoring progress. And then you have to have a budget that focused on what do students need for their instruction. And that's what the board's role is. And I'm just so thrilled to be able to work on this board that has done such a good job with that. I will share with you that at the back to school, and the girls brought that up a little bit when they were interviewing me, at the back to school, and I've been to many back to schools in my career, I've never seen one so excited, literally thrilled, with everybody coming in cheering that they're ready for this school year and they cannot wait for it to start and what they're going to do for kids, to the point that I'm sitting there on the platform crying. It was just, and I'm going to cry telling you about it. It was such an amazing experience. And I hope that all of those things continue to happen to keep the focus on those goals for learning. It's just so wonderful. Am I sorry to leave the board? Yes and no. I don't have to come to these meetings anymore. But my commitment to the children of Fallbrook will never go away. And I will continue in other roles that I play in the community. But I also will be a watchdog, and I will speak up for efforts if change needs to happen, because I don't ever want to see the focus to go away from learning for our students. Thank you. I should say these girls did not warn me they were coming here.
So last week, I also had the opportunity to join Trustee Goldbeck, Superintendent Hazel, and Associate Superintendent Husing. And for the CESBA 2024 Educational Conference in Anaheim, where we were able to participate in multiple sessions in topics such as networking, technology, AI, governance, best practices, and legal sessions, and many, many more. There were actually over 100 sessions. We only, could do maybe a few a day, but there were so very many to choose from, and the education from that is phenomenal, especially things to do with education and also really the budget and the legal parts of it. There was a lot of legal stuff this year that I've gone to before, and I did not recognize that. It was major this year, and there's so much to learn. It's just a big learning curve. I've been here 2 years, and I'm still, learning tons of new information, and it's just gathering it and taking it in. And I appreciate that having the opportunity to go to these trainings and educational forums where we can continue to get informed, educated, and grow as a school board member and as a community representative of our community. And I thank you.
Well, first I want to thank everyone for the video and comments recognizing Kenny and my service on the board. It was so incredibly thoughtful and a total surprise. So I should have known. A few comments as well. When I joined this board 4 years ago, I was motivated by just one goal: achieving reading literacy for all of our students by the 3rd grade. Because if they can't read by the end of 3rd grade, it changes their trajectory going forward, and it becomes so much less likely that they will be able to be successful in school and in life. Thanks to the superintendent we hired 1.5 years ago, Dr. Hazel, and her laser focus on reading literacy, our students are making extraordinary progress. I'd like to thank a few people who've been important to me on my journey as a board member. It all starts with teaching, and I'd like to thank 2 teachers who showed me what great teaching looks like and the astounding growth that students can make even when they come into their classroom 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 grade levels behind. And that's Ken Ostrowski and Dale Leonard. They've been really phenomenal. I'd like to thank the leaders at our schools, our principals and our associate principals, who every single day support our students and our staff and do everything they can to help every one of their students be successful. Our incredible cabinet, Dr. Kimberly Husing, Dr. Buscani, Armando Farias. If you know their bios, you know that each one of them have extraordinary successes in their careers, and we are so incredibly fortunate to have you leading our team. Monica Hazel, our very own transformative leader. When we met you during the interviews, it became so clear that you were unlike any of the candidates we had seen before, because your passion for our kids was deep in your heart, and you show it to us every single day. I'd like us to just acknowledge her for a minute, because you've been incredible. Woo! It's so true. My colleagues on the board, it has been such a pleasure and an honor to serve with you. I've learned so much from all of you. Ricardo, who joined when I did, I feel like we've been on this very long journey together. Thank you. And last, but most importantly, the most important person who supported me through this whole journey, sometimes difficult journey, my husband, Greg Lundeen. Greg, would you please stand? I thank you. It's an honor. I leave this board with great pride and hope that the board's continued support of research-based and high-impact strategies on improving teaching and learning and ultimately student achievement will help our students grow and be successful.
Thank you for those words. Also want to share my appreciation to Trustee Fish, Trustee Landine. Trustee Fish, you joined our board at a moment when we were, going through quite a bit and beginning to settle in, and we needed someone with the experience that you have, so you definitely helped us get back on track, stay focused, and you will be missed. I'm really glad I was able to serve with you. And Trustee Nandine, so much. Yeah, you're right. It's been 4 years. We started together, but your leadership was tremendous. Helped us through a very tumultuous time period. But with your level-headedness, your experience, your understanding, everything that you brought to this board, that you helped us get through it and get us to where we are today. It's been a pleasure as well serving with you. This isn't hasta la vista. It's not a goodbye. It's a hasta luego. I know we'll be in touch. Again, thank you for giving us 4 years of your time and almost 2 years, right? Has it been about 2 years? 1.5 years, yeah. It's been invaluable. Thank you so much. And I just want to share that I had a chance to go to lunch on the lawn at Potter. Never thought I'd see that. I thought lunch on the lawn was over. So I want to thank the PTA for putting that together. It was awesome. My daughter, she's in junior high, all right? You think, how I didn't think she'd be open to having us have lunch with her, but right away she was open to it because she wanted her burger from Greek style chicken. Well, hey, whatever it is, whatever gets her excited, but no, she really appreciated it. So I'm really glad the PTA was able to continue that tradition. And later that night, this was yesterday, right? Later that night, there was a leadership award ceremony at Potter, and I think I want to believe that because of lunch on the lawn, we got more parents to turn out. It was packed. Potter was packed. It was standing room only. It was great to see so much parents, so many parents and family members come out and celebrate our students, and so we recognize students that reclassified, and we recognize students who made it to the honor roll. They earned a 3.6 and above, and then the students of the trimester were recognized for both 7th and 8th grade. And I want to acknowledge my niece, Azul, who was selected for 8th grade. But overall, great day to be at Potter. And that's it. I'll hand it off to Superintendent Hazel.
Thank you. I was at Lunch on the Lawn as well, and it was amazing. We had almost 200 parents there at Lunch on the Lawn. So, for any parents whose children at Potter didn't want them to go to Lunch on the Lawn, I want you to know there's hope, because when my middle school son the first time didn't want me at Lunch on the Lawn, and I didn't go, then he saw all the other kids get the Chick-fil-A and the Canes and the Panda Express, and he invited me the next Lunch on the Lawn. So there's definitely hope for time 2. I have always so much to share. I want to start off with the Thanksgiving break camp. Our extended learning program did an amazing day. So sometimes the Thanksgiving break can be long for some of our families, and we had 210 students sign up for our Thanksgiving break camp. And I just want to say, wow, were these camps fun. I got a chance to go to the last day of camp, and the students were learning from an artist. They were doing African shadow painting. The big kids went to the zoo on the last day for a field trip. The little ones stayed back, and they made these Build-A-Bear animals, safari animals that went along with their safari theme, and they were doing PE activities, and it was a really high quality camp experience that most families in other districts have to pay for. And I was just so excited that it was something that we offer free to our families, and it was just a huge success. So thank you to the ELO team. You outdid yourself,
and it was our biggest attendance yet for that camp, so we're excited. We talked about the California School Board Association meeting, and at that session we talked about best practices. I want to thank Trustee Goldbeck and Trustee McBride for taking time out of your work schedule and your day to be able to commit to that was really appreciated. And we're in the business of continuous learning, and we need to model that for our kids. I'm learning every day just as our children are learning, and it was a great example to be learning side by side with both of you. I'm in the middle of my December site visit, so my favorite place to be is at the school sites with the kids in the classrooms. And so this week I was able to visit 4 schools. I visited FSA, Fraser, La Paloma, and Live Oak. And I want to just tell you that our students are working really hard, and the teachers are focusing on enhancing engagement strategies in the classroom. So gone is the day of when a teacher asks a question and one student answers the question, right? Because if the question is important enough for one student to answer, it's important enough for every single child in the classroom to answer that question. So our teachers don't let any child check out. So, in the days where one student would raise their hand and everyone else would sort of look down and hope that the teacher didn't call, you don't see that. What we're working towards in Fallbrook is if it's important enough for one, it's important enough for all. So today and all week, I saw students when I walked in, they had individual whiteboards and they're working on their math. They're working in partner groups. They're working up on a chart on the wall. And so you'll see high levels of engagement and ensuring that we don't allow kids to check out when they come into class. And I just want to say how proud I am of our teachers and how proud I am of our students. And I just love being in classrooms. I've got 4 more classes, 4 more schools to go before the December break, and I'll give you an update in January. The other thing I wanted to just give an update was the Potter Learning Walk. So we talked about that we're in the business of adults continually learning. And what I wanted to share was that every month, all of the principals, the assistant principals, the directors, we all get together and we go to one school. And then we break up into teams, and then we canvass the whole school, and we try to get into every classroom on campus. And what we're looking for is, what are our students having success with? And what did the teacher do to engineer that success? And what are our students struggling with? And how might we work together to address those needs? And so those sessions are so powerful. It's just a great example of job-embedded learning. We're not reading it from a book. These are research-based practices, but our principals get together once a month and do this work. And I know President Favela, you've been able to attend one of those, and I want you to all know that you're always welcome to attend our learning walks and see what's going on. I want a quick shout out to Bryson and Ernie and our whole facilities and custodial teams for all the preparations related to the possible power outage. It caused a lot of preparations for our districts trying to be prepared for the outage. And I want you to know we were prepared and ready. And all of my directors worked on Sunday afternoon to assess the campuses, to think about the instructional implications. We wanted, whether power was on or off at Fallbrook schools, we were still going to hold school, and it was safe. Even though we didn't have lights, we still know how to teach without technology, and the weather was mild. So we know that our families and our students are dependent on our schools being open, so we don't take it lightly to close our schools. So our team was amazing and creative and made sure that we were ready. I also want to shout out to our new interim director of communications in the back of the room, Raul. Thank you. Working late on Sunday night to make sure. That was like his first week on the job, and he made sure that we had clear communications to our principals, to our staff, and to our parents about what our plan was. Because when parents and families know what the plan is, it makes people feel more, less anxious and ready to go. I also want to thank Chief McReynolds for his consistent communication, and Superintendent Ilsa Garza Gonzalez from the high school. We collaborated so that we had a uniform plan. We knew that if elementary students were not at school, a lot of high school students have to care for their siblings, and so we wanted to make sure we had a unified plan. And then the hard part is I just want to give a heartfelt thank you to Trustee Fish and Trustee Lundeen for supporting our district and serving. Trustee Lundeen, I want to thank you for leading the district through some challenging transitions and superintendent leadership. In the 4 years that you've been on the board, I'm the third superintendent that you have worked with. And I just want to thank you for being on the hiring team. I want to thank you for selecting me and believing in me. I'm so thankful to be the superintendent of Fallbrook. I recognize how special a place this is every single day, and I want to thank you for trusting me to take this role. I want to thank you for your commitment to Fallbrook. You've had this unwavering focus, and thank you for attending walkthroughs with me and being a cheerleader with me. You've been a cheerleader for we saw the videos and we saw some of the photos, like a literal cheerleader with pom-poms and signs for Potter on the first day and for our back to school, but you've also been a symbolic cheerleader for all of our staff. So I want to just thank you. You ask thoughtful, hard questions, and I really appreciated that about you. You're always prepared, and you're the consummate professional, and I appreciate your push and reminder to the community that reading by third grade is so important for our students. So just on behalf of Fallbrook and me personally, thank you. And Trustee Fish, you have served on our board for just a year, a little bit over a year, but your commitment to Fallbrook students goes back a long way. When you served in the seat that Assistant Superintendent Bustani sits in right now, she was the Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services right here in Fallbrook. In that role, you were a champion for children. You fought for every child's success. You worked to support our most marginalized students. You brought this passion into your role as trustee, and your vast experience in education served our district, and you also supported me as a mentor. So thankful for that. I remember when you were first appointed, you drove me all over town and you showed me all the most important stops in Fallbrook. We went to the Fallbrook Art School, the Art Center, we went to the library, you've taken me to Rotary meetings, and most importantly, you introduced me to Rosa's for great lunches. So, and as you talked, I could hear, and as you took me around from place to place, I could feel the deep love that you have for this community and how you serve in so many different ways. And I know that you're going to continue to serve Fallbrook in lots of ways. And so I know I'm going to see you at Rotary and at the art school. So thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Now it is time to honor our students and recognize the attendance and reading achievements of our schools and students. Suzanne.
This is my absolute favorite part of every board meeting, that we have our reading recognition. So students of Fallbrook have read over 2.8 million minutes since we kicked off Bean Staff, which is a tracking of how much reading students are doing both at home and in school. And we would like to honor the following students for being the top readers at their school. Students, we are so proud of you. Being a student reader, a strong reader, will unlock the doors to success in your future studies and your future career. We hope you carry this joy and love of reading throughout your life. Congratulations, and please come up when your name is called and we will take a group picture. Afterward, if you'd like, you can have Superintendent Hazel autograph the book that you're going to be receiving, because every one of you is getting a special book. The teacher identified a book that you were interested in, and that's going to be your gift. And so if you want her autograph after we take the group picture, you can just line up and she'll sign it. And then when you go to school tomorrow, ask your teacher to sign it. And then maybe even your principal. And then while you're at it, ask your friends, because you are reading rockstar. And that means that you are one of, let's see, this is the 4th time we're doing this, so there are 32 students out of 5,000 that are getting this recognition. So I'm going to call your name. Please come up, and Superintendent Hazel will give you your certificate and your gift. From Fallbrook STEM, Tishan Beltran, 5th grade. Are you here? Who's not here? Okay. Alejandra Silvestre, 5th grade from La Paloma. Well done. From Live Oak Elementary, Jordan Rios, 5th grade. From May Ellis, Sophia Nesser, 6th grade. Sophia, are you here? From Mary Faye Pendleton, Macy Webb, 8th grade. Macy? We'll make sure she gets her gifts. From Potter Junior High, Kaylee Castillo, 8th grade. From, let's see, from William Fraser, Mateo Lopez, 6th grade. Mateo, no? Okay. From San Onofre, Carolyn Duran, 5th grade. Carolyn, are you here? Well, it was a busy night, and so we will make sure they get their gifts. Now, for the 4 of you, discovered. Is there any way back now? No, right? It's one of the most wonderful things to have to be able to open up doors and worlds for you. So congratulations. Get on the phone. Yay! Oh, yes, I have more.
While we're waiting for the kids to pull out their books, I also want to thank Angie Arellano, my executive assistant, who shops for all of these books. She calls every teacher and asks what their favorite book is. And so every book is also personalized specifically to them. And so that's what I love about Fallbrook. Everybody goes the extra mile. So Angie, thank you.
Yay. And while they are getting their books signed, I would like to honor Fallbrook STEM Academy for their outstanding participation in our district's Read Grateful Reading Challenge. Fallbrook STEM Academy achieved the highest engagement across the entire district, with 123 students completing the challenge. 2,149 badges were earned school-wide, and an impressive 113,686 minutes read in November. A huge thank you to Principal Ana Arias
for inspiring students to embrace the joy of reading and fostering a culture that celebrates literacy at Fallbrook STEM. Anna, would you please stand? Woo!
And then we can hand it off to Mary.
Okay. All right, so strong attendance is so important because it's key to learning. When students are in school consistently, they have the best chance to grow, develop, succeed academically. That's why we're excited to recognize schools for their efforts in promoting strong attendance. This month, I'm proud to announce that La Paloma Elementary had the highest average daily attendance. Congratulations to the staff, the students, the family of La Paloma Elementary for the outstanding achievement. Your commitment to being present every day sets a wonderful example. Thank you.
So Mr. Favela is going to step out for a few minutes. He is fighting a really awful cold and asthma, and it's just such a typical thing that he puts the district and our kids first. He's done that his whole 4 years here, and we'll do it the next 4. So I'm just stepping in as vice president. This is the portion of our meeting, the hearing session, that is, designated for comments from the public about non-agenda items, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. Should individuals wish to comment on items on the present agenda, they may also do so during this portion of the meeting or at the time the item is considered by the board. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, with a maximum of 20 minutes allocated for a particular item or topic. While the Brown Act allows the board to hear issues within its jurisdiction from the public that are not on the agenda, it only allows the board to respond in a very limited manner, such as providing direction to staff. If the board were to have more than this type of brief discussion on an item that is not on the agenda, it could be a violation of the Brown Act's rules for posting the agenda. To address the governing board, members of the public must have submitted a completed speaker card to the clerk of the board before the open session portion of the meeting began. This district has a commitment to civility. At the Fallbrook Union Elementary School District, we are dedicated to creating a respectful and welcoming environment for everyone. Our staff is committed to treating parents and community members with respect, and we kindly ask for the same in return. This commitment ensures our schools and offices remain safe and free from disruption, fostering a positive environment for learning and collaboration. While this policy supports free expression, it also emphasizes the importance of mutual respect and civility. To set an example for our students and community, the district encourages open and positive communication and discourages foul language, hostile, or aggressive behavior. We thank you for partnering with us in promoting a safe and supportive atmosphere for our students, staff, and families. Ms. McBride, do we have any speakers?
We do not.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. I take direction well. Families, it's fine if you're here because your students were honored. You're welcome to go. You're welcome to stay. But we know that a lot of students have homework and it's getting close to nap time for some. So thank you all. We now have a presentation. It's an overview of the California dashboard. Tavka Bustani, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, and a student from Mary Fay Pendleton will review the contents of the Fallbrook Union Elementary School District dashboard on the California Dashboard website.
And then can you switch the slide for me?
Okay. You know, those two young girls who interviewed Dr. Fish and I are such incredible examples of the kind of students we have in our district. It blows me away that we have kindergartners and first graders who are self-assured and can get in front of an audience. And you saw our third grade student who spoke as well as any adult I know. And our sixth grade student was recently reclassified. So English is not her first language. And yet if you listen to her, you just hear the confidence and the success that she has in her voice. They're just such impressive young women. And now we've got another impressive young woman at the podium. Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, no signal. Okay. You know, in the TV world, they call this filling time. So let's see. Do we want to switch to something? That's great. Why don't we do that? We're going to hit a couple of administrative items, and then we'll come back. We have an action item regarding out-of-state travel. Deloitte University Super Courageous Institute, it's recommended that the governing board approve all expenses be paid for Mrs. Monica Hazel, Mr. Armando Farias, Ms. Tavka Bustani, and expanded cabinet to attend the Deloitte University Super Courageous Institute in Dallas, Texas, from February 21st to the 23rd, 2025. Registration is $750. Total approximate cost is $2,000 each, to be paid out of Superintendent Educational Services and Business Services travel budgets. Do I have a motion? I so move. Do I have a second?
I second.
Are there any comments? Okay. With that, I will call for a vote. Are you ready for a vote? Sounds like we are. Okay, we'll start with Mrs. McBride.
Aye.
Dr. Fish.
Aye.
And Frank, you
Aye.
are? Okay, thank you, Trustee Gobeck. And I am aye as well, so it's unanimous. That passes. Okay, moving on. Let's see what's the next one. Oh, it's okay. She's like, no, I'm not convinced. All right, next item on the agenda is, I'm coming there. Here we go. All right. At this time, we are opening public hearing 2023-2024 annual developer fees report for comments. Do we have any speakers? Ms. McBride, speakers for this? I don't
I'm
think
sorry.
we do.
No, we don't.
Okay. Okay. Get that. Great. So I'll now close public hearing. Then we have an action item. It is recommended that the governing board approve resolution number 08-24/25 to adopt the annual fees developer report. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Okay. Any comments? Trustee Goldbeck, would you like to start the vote?
I think it's important for the public to know that when homes are built here, a percentage of the sales from those homes go to supporting the schools, expanding their infrastructure to support those students that will be living in those homes. So it's an interesting dynamic, and we have a budget that we can only use for expanding or improving our existing facilities. There's a bit of a symbiosis there that I think is interesting for the public to be aware of.
Very well described. Thank you. Okay. Any other comments? Yeah, I think we're ready for a vote. Trustee Goldbeck?
Aye.
Trustee Fish?
Aye.
Trustee McBride?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Alrighty. First interim report. Okay, that's another presentation. We're going to skip that. Let's see. Another presentation. Well, you know, we're getting sort of a clue of what it would be like if we had a shutdown. The action school plan. All right, we've got one we can do here. This is the, it's an action item. Whoop. We've got it. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Board Trustees, Superintendent Hazel, and members of the Fallbrook community, parents. Thank you so much for being here with us this evening. I'm honored to present to you our California School Dashboard update. As you know, we try to keep you apprised about the academic progress of our students and provide you data and updates as we go. Co-presenting with me this evening, I am super honored and proud to be here with Aria Bruder, a 4th grade scholar from Mary Fay Pendleton Elementary School. Aria's outstanding academic journey serves as a model for all students to emulate here in Fallbrook. She's engaged in lessons, applies herself in class, and earns good grades. Last year, she exceeded standards on both math and English language arts on the California Summative Assessment, positively contributing to our results on the California dashboard. But on top of all that, doesn't end there. Aria is a kind student. She is confident, outspoken, and contributes to the overall climate and the culture of her school. And for that, you are a leader that we all look up to, Aria. Thank you for being here this evening.
Good evening, Board Trustees, Superintendent Hazel, and members of the Board. My name is Aria Bruder, and I'm excited to be here tonight to share how students like me, along with all the students in Fallbrook, have demonstrated growth on the California dashboard. Tonight, we'll explore the California dashboard, highlight FUESD's data and achievements, observe a language lesson, and wrap up with time for questions and comments. Thank you for allowing me to share progress with you.
The California dashboard serves as a comprehensive report card for schools and districts, providing valuable insights into the performance areas across key subjects such as academic achievement, attendance, and school climate. It also highlights the progress of specific student groups such as our English language learners, our students with disabilities, and students experiencing homelessness, ensuring that equity remains at the forefront of our educational efforts here at Fallbrook. The dashboard uses a color-coded scale, from low being on the lowest performance to blue, the highest performance, to show progress. The dashboard incorporates 2 years of data to evaluate both current performance, which is status, and year-over-year progress, which is change, emphasizing forward growth and improvement. And that's a trend and a theme that you'll hear us reiterate throughout our presentation. At the start of the year, we share the results from our California State Assessment, the CASP. And as you recall, we are making significant gains in ELA and in mathematics. The CASP data and the dashboard data, however, serve different purposes and provide different insights. The
The comparison on this slide highlights differences between the two performance metrics. The CASP focuses solely on static year-to-year test scores, while the California dashboard focuses on individual and group growth across multiple measures, including attendance, behavior, language development, and academic, tracking both status and, again, change over time, with the expectation that every single student grows. That's the key with the dashboard. We are expecting growth for each and every child. It is an equity lever to ensure the progress of every learner.
The California dashboard includes 6 main indicators, but only four to us apply as students in FUESD. Academic performance in English, language arts, ELA, and math. Based on our test scores, the English Learner Progress Indicator, ELPI, which tracks how well English learners are growing in their language skills. Chronic absenteeism, which measures how often students miss school. Suspensions, which track how many students are suspended during the year. The other 2 indicators, high school graduates rate and career and college readiness, don't apply to us yet because we're not in high school. Yes. The California dashboard tracks academic performance in the English, language arts, and math. These are based on the CASP assessments we take in spring. This also includes English Learner Progress, which is focused on students who are learning English. All these tests happen once a year and measure how well we understand what we're supposed to learn in our grade. They also help our teachers and schools know what's working and where we need more support so that way we can keep achieving our goals.
The first level of information on the California dashboard is the English Language Arts Academic Indicator, which highlights results from the ELA summative assessment. For FUESD, the overall ELA performance is at green, which is a good place to be, marking an impressive 2-band growth from 2023 when we were actually at orange. So we've seen a growth, we've moved the dial in a positive direction, right, 2 bands. Below the gauge, the status and change metrics provide a little bit more detail. On last year's CASP ELA assessment, our students scored 0.9 points above the standard with an 11.3 point increase in distance from MET. So distance from MET, we increased 11.3 points. This progress reflects the impact of your vision and the board's vision to develop a culture of reading. Our teachers and our students have taken that vision and they're making it alive in our classroom. And the data here is reflecting that. We're now going to take a look at the student groups. Here at Fallbrook, as you know, we pay attention to our student groups. This is the equity lens that we ensure every child, every student, every subgroup makes progress. And we monitor that closely and we intervene when we don't see results. See, as you can see here, there are areas where we must focus on improving outcomes for our most vulnerable learners. This is where our work lies and we recognize it. For example, our homeless students remain in the red, with their population increasing from 97 students in 2023 to 124 students in 2024. We've increased the number of students who are being recognized as homeless, and we're acting to ensure that our students and our families have proper resources to move the dial, not only on the academics, but their overall well-being. This year, the long-term English learner group was a newly added student group to the dashboard. You want to recognize that. While this group of 211 students showed notable progress with a 12.9 point increase from last year, their performance still remains low. Starting in the orange category. And as you know, we're not going to settle for orange, and we won't settle for low. And Dr. Curcio and I and the amazing leaders in this room have already taken action on the data, and I will share that with you in a few minutes. The second level of information is a mathematics performance indicator. The overall gauge for FUESD is now in the yellow category, reflecting a 1-band improvement from 2023 when we were in the orange. Again, our goal is to move the dial to blue. On last year's CAS math assessment, our students were 28.5 points below the standard, but demonstrated a notable progress of a 13.5 point increase. So we know we have work to do in mathematics, and with our teachers, we are collaborating to ensure that every child receives high-quality, standards-based instruction, and as Superintendent Monica Hazel mentioned, that every child is actively engaged in their learning. Now we move to the student groups. Again, although we do see increases, we have to acknowledge a similar pattern here in mathematics. With our homeless population in red and our long-term English learners starting in the orange band, similar to what we experienced in ELA. This data represents our equity dilemma and underscores our commitment to provide targeted support so that each and every child is successful, but not only successful, but is thriving, both academically and social emotionally. In the Fallbrook Union Elementary School District, we serve approximately 978 English language learners. Of these, 163 of them are classified as long-term English learners, meaning they've been in the United States for 7 or more years. The English Learner Progress Indicator, the ELPI, measures progress by expecting every English learner to advance at least one level in their English language development. We are expected to show growth, not to remain the same, because if we stay stagnant, that will count against us. We are expected to demonstrate growth each and every year. Maintaining in levels 1 through 3 without growth can actually work against us. And that's something that's very important to recognize, that growth is expected for every child. From 2023 to 2024, we actually saw a 7.8 decrease in the number of students advancing, because maintaining a level 4, that's the only thing that counts. Unlike ELA and math, on the dashboard where scaled scores represent an overall average, the ELPI operates on a system that tracks individual student progress. Each child must make growth. So what are we doing about this data? We have leaders in this room who are collaborating with us. Dr. Curcio and I are working closely with our principals, and we are ensuring that we are taking action and providing the necessary supports to our English language learners. Our dedicated teachers in this room, some of which are in this room, are providing the language supports necessary to ensure their success. We are meeting with each site principal, and we're developing targeted plans and identifying research-based strategies, including designated ELD, collaborative partnerships, language targets, engagement expectations. As Superintendent Hazel mentioned, not one child who's an English language learner, not one child, period, should not be actively engaged in participating. As part of this effort, Dr. Curcio and I are also conducting walkthroughs. We're going to be in classrooms with our eyes on the students who are English language learners, and observing the impact of teacher practice on their learning. Together with our amazing teachers and our dedicated leaders, we will bring this data back on track.
So what do these language supports actually look like? Let's watch a video of examples what these supports look like in our classrooms.
Well, the
students, right behind you, you will see amazing examples of some of the visual scaffolds and supports our teachers are providing in the classroom. Teaching into language, providing visuals, graphic organizers, templates, tools, teaching into vocabulary. These are examples of how our teachers are providing language support to accelerate language development here at Fallbrook.
Now let's talk about the last two indicators on the California dashboard: chronic absenteeism and suspensions. For these two areas, a decrease means we're making things better. You can see that we've reduced chronic absenteeism by 9.1%, which means more students are coming to school each day. Our students are using different strategies to help students stay on track. For example, we have things like fun attendance initiatives and school campaigns that encourage good attendance. In addition, our school counselors meet with us in small groups to help solve problems, set goals, and make it easier to come to school every day.
So now we analyze student groups through the lens of chronic absenteeism. On the California dashboard, 32.5% of our homeless students and 22.5% of our Filipino students were chronically absent, exceeding the district average of 18%. While both groups showed progress, Filipino students reduced their absenteeism by 16.2%, and homeless students reduced by 1.9%, moving them from red to orange. Their rates still remain the highest amongst all other student groups. This data emphasizes the urgent need to monitor and support students closely. Chronic absenteeism, as we all know, impacts student learning and academic outcomes. If they're not here, they're not learning. So again, here in Fallbrook, we don't just analyze data, we take action. Our student services team, our amazing and dedicated team, includes social workers, counselors, and school nurses, and they are here to provide our families experiencing homelessness tools, resources, community connections to make sure they have everything they need to learn. They work tirelessly to identify individual students through behavioral assessments, counseling, and a comprehensive case management. They connect families with vital community-based resources such as housing, food, clothing, and other essentials. In addition to that, we provide targeted academic support before and after school and ensure students have access to the necessary tools to continue in their learning journey.
On this slide, you can see our suspension data. We're proud to share that we're in the green again, just like 2023, which shows we're continuing to use alternative and restorative strategies to support positive behavior. What's even more exciting is that our suspension rate has gone down by 4%. This shows how our schools are working hard to create safe, welcoming, and inclusive environments for students, and it's something we're really proud of. When we look at the suspension rate on the dashboard, we see that no group of students had an increase in suspensions, which is great news. This shows that we're working hard to support all students so they can stay in school, learn, and do their best. These results remind us that we're making progress to help everyone feel welcome and successful at school.
Thank you, Arya. Thank you to our board trustees and Superintendent Hazel for your steadfast commitment and relentless support to our students and families and teachers, and also to prioritize outcomes. Truly commendable that we place student learning as the driver of everything that we do and all decisions we make. We're grateful for this opportunity to highlight our progress, and we will now open it up for questions or comments.
Thank you. I do have a question. Can you tell us a little bit about the portion of the presentation in which you talked about after-school tutoring for ELL students? Will that be a new effort? Who's putting it on? Tell us a little bit about that, if you would.
We have schools providing, certain schools are providing after-school tutoring. I can get you the list of schools who were providing that. But in our ELO program, we have amazing academic supports. As a matter of fact, our director is providing small group reading instruction to students at their point of need. We have books and libraries. So tutoring is focused on the learning in reading primarily, but also as an extension of the school day in ELO. So the ELO program is currently a driver of the after-school tutoring efforts here at Fallbrook.
So you've got almost 1,000 students who are ELLs, right?
Yes.
And any idea how many of them are enrolled in our current after-school program?
I can get those numbers for you. The percentage of the number of students who are English language learners in the after-school program, we can certainly gather those numbers for you.
That would be great. I'm just wondering about the ones who aren't enrolled.
Yes. And we are making every effort possible to open enrollment for the after-school programs. We are increasing the number of students who are attending. And again, there is an academic component to the after-school program with the focus on reading and small group reading at their point of need. So it is something that we're implementing, but we certainly will get the numbers in terms of how many English language learners are in the program.
One other question on a subset of that. So how many of the ELL students would you say might also be homeless? Because you said we have about 120 students that are homeless. Is there a subset? Do we see a link there, or is it not really connected?
I have the number of homeless students by school, but I believe there isn't necessarily a broken down by demographics, like a one predominant group, but I can also pull that number for you.
I think that's a hard situation for those students, not only
Absolutely.
English not their language, but they're living in a challenging situation as well.
So the experience both.
I was just curious. Don't go to a whole lot of trouble. I have confidence in you and in the program, but I was curious as to how many of them are now after school, and if not, how many of those will be.
You can certainly get that information.
We can get that information.
I did want to share too, when we look at the supports for English language learners, the most powerful, like research-based strategies are that happen during Tier 1 instruction, which is the first core instruction. And so every day, teachers are required to teach English language development for 30 minutes a day. So that's the most powerful instruction that we see. And then the other, and that's called designated English language development. We also have integrated English language development, which are the strategies that you see that teachers teach during social studies and science and throughout the day, where they're using visuals, additional vocabulary, lots of language. So I would say that the majority of our support for our English language learners in our plan is happening during the school day, and that the after-school program would be a much smaller part of our overall plan for English language learners. And that is because we have less students that come to our after-school programs, and also research shows that the best time to do that instruction is during the day, versus after school. So it is a part, and it will be addressed, but it's not the predominantly largest part.
I'm just wondering, with parent participation, volunteers in the helping of the reading during school, after school, is there that going on? And if so, would you say, what are the numbers? Are we working to increase them? Such things.
Yeah, I would say that we don't have the numbers of, we haven't collected numbers of of parents that are participating at the schools for tonight. So it's definitely something that I can gather for you, and that each principal collects parent participation in a different way, whether it is in the classroom or after school, whatever that looks like. I think that, post-COVID, we are trying to increase our parent participation. During COVID, it was a really hard time because we had robust parent participation pre-COVID here in Fallbrook. Parents were seen, from what I've heard from teachers and principals, is that we saw parents in classrooms, supporting reading groups, and on campus quite a bit. And then during COVID, of course, parents were not part of our COVID plan, and so got used to not being on campus. So we need to re-engage that effort to focus on parent engagement, because you're absolutely right, Trustee McBride. Our parents are our best partners in this work and can make a big impact.
So both the ELA and the math indicators report a number of 3,007, 3,014 students. And is that the number of students who are at the standard or above the standard? Sure.
So these were the number of students tested.
Okay, so data points.
Yes.
Okay. And then on chronic absenteeism, we're tracking 5,370 students, but there's a bit of discrepancy between our enrollment, right? We're in the 5,100s in general. Chronic absenteeism, number of students, 5,370, but we've got 5,140 left.
We have about 5,035.
5,035 right now. So that's about a 300 student difference. Do we know why
Does
that?
not include special ed students, by the way.
That does not include
That is correct.
special ed students.
Right.
The number, the 5,035. Okay, so we've got roughly 200, or excuse me, 340.
Let's say we have about, in all, about 5,100.
5,100 students.
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding the question. So I'm looking at the slide and I see the number of students as 5,370.
Right.
And
but then our weekly reports of students enrolled is
yes, well, these were data points from last year.
last year. Okay,
Right.
so we're looking at
Last
Data from
year's
last
data,
year.
correct.
okay, and
And I think what I want to highlight from this data is that even though we made a 9.1% decrease in chronic absenteeism, which is phenomenal, we still have almost 20% of our students not coming to school. So it's still a big issue that we need to tackle. And this is an issue across the nation, quite honestly.
I had one more question because I can't be the only one that doesn't ask a question. No, the suspension rate is quite low. Can I assume that most of them would be junior high age?
This is, well, the junior high age for the suspension rates, yes. Yes, but our efforts span at every school, at every grade level. We are proactive and provide more of a restorative approach.
And it
to
shows by
student
the
behavior.
statistics.
It does. So it's all encompassing, and the positive rewards and behaviors and the restorative are all efforts that our counselors and our social workers and our teachers. So it's a multi-pronged approach to that.
I want to add to that the research that I've done and the things that I've read. So our state required that those numbers come down. The difference here is that when I've spoken to other districts, even in other states, it's the numbers are only down because they get sent to rooms where they might call them the resting room or the timeout room, and then they come back and they continue to have problems. We don't have that issue going on here. It's been handled totally different, and because of that, we have just more cohesiveness and other positive things. I just want to add that.
So we'd like to thank Aria for being here this evening, and her family also for being so patient with us. Aria, we have a special award our superintendent would like to recognize you with.
Again, this is an example of our student leaders. You know, our students need opportunities to get in front of adults and be part of the day-to-day workings of our district. And so I really appreciate her coming. We're going to expect amazing things from her when she's in junior high and high school. Thank you again. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. That was a great presentation. And now on to Armando Farias, our Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, who will provide a brief presentation on the 2024-2025 first interim report.
It's hard to go after Adia, though. Good evening, trustees, Superintendent Hazel, colleagues in cabinet, staff, and guests. It is my privilege to be here and to share with you the first interim report. And just as a side note, it is important for the community to know that you as board members have already received this full report, which is over 120 pages, 122 pages to be exact. And today I'm going to be providing some highlights of the report. I would like to start with a short timeline. And as you may recall, back in June, I presented, with a proposed budget, which was approved by you, the 24-25 school year budget. Just a couple of months ago, I presented the United Actuals, which was really a closeout of the 23-24 school year, and it provided data that impacts our initial revenues for this school year. And today, I am presenting that interim report 1 for the 24-25 school year. And I can assure you that in less than a blink of an eye, I'm going to be here in March presenting the second interim report. But what is the first interim report? School districts are required to report their financial status to the governing board, to the County Office of Education, and to the California Department of Education. The first of these financial reports, of course, is the first interim. The first interim report reflects actual expenditures from the beginning of the school year, right after the approved proposed budget, all the way till October 31st of this year. And I'm very, very pleased to share with you that we are, FUESD has a positive certification, which means that it will meet its financial responsibilities, all financial responsibilities for this year and the following 2 years. Again, before I proceed, I would like to share with you what types of certifications there are. And it's important also for the community, for everyone here to know that as we hear and see in the news that neighboring districts self-certify differently, again, we're very proud that we are a positive certification. Positive certification, again, means that we will meet our financial responsibilities for this year and the next 2 years. A qualified certification would mean that based on current projections of whichever district we're talking about, they might not be able to meet their current financial responsibilities or their 2 years, the next 2 years financial responsibilities. And a negative certification means that a school district, based on their projections, will not be able to meet their current or the 2 years out when it comes to financial responsibilities. So I can assure you that while we are here, we're going to say remain positive, because that is the only way to truly provide the conditions, not only for our students, but for our staff, to impact them on a daily basis. And that is our goal, just the way it is the goal for the board and our superintendent. I will start with revenues and the LCFF. As you can see, there is a decrease in revenues when it comes to our LCFF factors. And what does that mean? As you are aware, our threshold when it comes to unduplicated counts. And what are unduplicated counts? Those are students who are English language learners low income, and foster youth. Our percentage is low, so the projection for revenues is less. Federal revenue, we have an increase of about 241,000. This is Title I and Title IV carryover. SMA, GBT it, and it's specialized Medicare administrative highlights. In other words, medical reimbursements. And updated projections, for Title II, Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV. A lot of titles. So I feel compelled to let you know what those titles mean. Title I is financial support for low-income students. Title II focuses on improving the quality of teachers, principals, and leadership. In other words, it could be professional development to strengthen our skill set for everyone. Title III is focused on supporting English language learners. And Title IV is money used to enhance the academic achievement of every single student. For example, providing well-rounded educational programs, which are, to a degree, academic enrichment, after-school program, school safety, and mental health support. I'm going to go to the other state, the 1.9, almost $2 million here in revenues. Revenues meaning, again, money coming into our district. The bulk of this money comes from the California Community Schools Partnership Program. As you know, we receive a grant of about $5.7 million for 4 of our schools, and about $1.4 million is released on a yearly basis for the next 4 years. We also have lottery, funds from the lottery, which is about $103,000, and home to school transportation, which is a little over $172,000. For the other local interests, we have interest. Our money sitting at a bank account is garnering interest, and we have garnered about $112,000. The ACES program brought in a little more money than expected, about $178,000, special ed, and Medicare carryover. I'm going to move on to expenditures. What are the changes? When it comes to salary and benefits, just like I stated it, we received a grant, the community schools grant. In order to be able to provide the conditions for us to use that grant and to impact our kids, we have to hire people. We hire people, we pay salaries, and we pay for their health care. And that's about the amount that you see right there. For materials and supplies increase, posted restricted for the 23-24, that's carryover balances for Title I, Title IV, child nutrition services, etc. And for services, it's about $1.5 million, and of course, our property and liability and our minimum premium policy increased to the tune of about $150,000. Increases in ACES and budget adjustments to clear negative balances. For capital outlay, we again use some of that money to clear negative balances, and we have the other outgo, which is about $300,000. This is contracting with the County Office of Education to ensure that we provide supports for 4 to 6 students with special needs, mostly deaf, and hard of hearing. What you see right here as a slide in revenue and expenditure changes, it's pretty much all of the amounts that I just shared with you. You saw this in the report that you went over 120 pages. And today, again, I was sharing the highlights in a different format. Okay. For the general fund balance and reserves, which is on page 20 of that huge report. Sorry. It is important before I proceed with this slide that districts our size are required to maintain a 3% reserve for economic uncertainties. That amount is a little over $3.1 million. But it's also important for you as the board and for the community to know that 3%, it's only going to take us possibly a week and a half, 2 weeks in case of an economic downturn. For that reason, we must monitor our reserves very, very closely. That's what Lindsay and I do to ensure that we are fiscally responsible and fiscally balanced. Special reserve fund balance and reserve, because of the continual and careful planning that we have here at Fallbrook Union Elementary School District, we also have revenues with funds designated for commitments and assignments such as impact aid, major maintenance, health and welfare, and technology needs. We also have an additional reserve of a little over close to $456,000 above the 3% minimum requirements. You will see some amounts here, two amounts. Two amounts for $1.75 million. Those are impact aid monies that we have allocated here. Why are they here in Fund 17, which is pretty much our savings account? Because, as you might remember, back in June, I presented to you the impact aid that we received for last year. And we received monies for the years 21-22, 22-23, 23-24. So we have this money just in case we need to dip into it if we do not receive our impact aid in a timely fashion. We also have allocated $800,000 for major maintenance, which Mr. Bryson, our Director of Facilities, is looking forward to spending some of that money this coming summer, which is very, very much needed. Although we are deficit spending, we cannot just leave our facilities to their own luck. We have to maintain and upkeep them. I cannot share how many people have shared with me their great gratitude with the board and with our superintendent when it comes to the MOU that will pick up the tab when it comes to healthcare premiums starting in January until we go back to the table and negotiate. Okay? What did I present to you right now? I presented a snapshot of our budget from the beginning of the school year all the way through October 31st. We have a positive certification, yay. It really, really makes me happy with it. And we have an approximately 11.8% reserve. What are the next steps? The governor's budget in January, almost a month away from now, and which will provide us with some data for us to be able to start developing the 2025-26 budget. And again, in less than a blink of an eye, I'll be presenting the second interim report in March of 2025. And it is my honor to say that Fallbrook Union Elementary School District continues to maintain a fiscally responsible budget in addition to positively impacting every single one of our students on a daily basis. And this is not opinion, as you know, this is data that we have. Makes me very, very proud as well. And I just want to show my gratitude to my amazing team. Lindsay Pillen, who's my left and right hand. She has been a God-given gift to me and to this system. Raul Raigosa, who can always stop on him, and he's ready to support. Sheila Duncan, the accounting and payroll department, and everyone. I want to wish everyone happy holidays. And again, trustees, it's such an honor to work with you in many, many years. This is a gift to see a board who's really committed to our students. Trustee Fish, Trustee Landin, what an amazing honor to have worked with you. Thank you. I'm open to any questions.
Isn't part of our 11% reserve to protect us for future problems in the next coming years?
You are correct.
So I wonder if you could let us know how much we made from the different fees that we have brought in.
I can, if you don't mind, I'll take a look at my data here.
From the developer fees?
Yes.
It was approximately $1 million. He can get you the exact.
I have
Okay.
For developer fees for the fiscal year 23-24, we collected $1,084,000 $1,986.79. That money earned interest.
Exact amount. We didn't want
That
to
money
round up.
earned interest of $169,054.99. No problem, my pleasure.
That's a very good report. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. I so appreciate it. Thank you.
It is recommended that the governing board approve the 2024-25 first interim report. This is the first of 2 annual reports that cover the financial and budgetary status of the district for the period ending October 31st, 2024, as required by Education Code 42130. The district is submitting a positive certification for the first interim report, which means that based upon current projections, the district will be able to meet its financial obligations for the current fiscal year and subsequent 2 fiscal years. Do I have a motion?
I motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second. You can have it.
Thank you very much, Chair. Any comments? I will call for a vote. Trustee McBride?
Aye.
Trustee Fish?
Aye.
Trustee Dolbeck?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Motion passes. Okay, so moving to the next page. First reading of the budgeting fees and educational services. Make that action item.
6.
Here we go, another page. Okay, let's see. School Plan for Student Achievement, SPSA 2024-25. Visvanti, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, has a return engagement.
Yes,
She is
coming back
presenting
again.
a brief presentation, thank you, on the School Plan for Student Achievement 2024-2025.
Thank you. Thank you. Board trustees, I will be providing you with a brief overview of our school plan for student achievement. And at the conclusion of this presentation, we will seek your approval for the process we followed in developing these plans. So I will be previewing or overviewing the intent of our school plan for student achievement, the plan alignment, contents, the cycle, and board action. That's what we will conclude with. Schools receiving Title I funds must develop a school plan for student achievement to outline goals, strategies, and the use of funds to support student outcomes. These plans are created, reviewed, and approved by school site councils consisting of 50% of staff and 50% of parents and community who are elected for 2-year terms. The plan must address school needs and use data to support and track progress.
Can you say which schools have this plan?
Every school has this plan. It's required by the state that every school has a plan and be approved by the SSC Council, and that there are elements of the plan and a template that all schools must complete. So it is a requirement. So the LCAP outlines district-wide goals and funding priorities. The federal addendum ensures federal funds target specific student needs and evidence-based actions. So our school plans are in alignment with the LCAP and the federal addendum. And they actually align the goals and the strategies and funding to support student achievement, creating a cohesive plan. So you will see that the goals and actions are connected to our overarching local control and accountability plan. So our intent is to find alignment in our plans and cohesiveness. Our SPSAs detail specific goals and strategies and actions aimed at improving student outcomes and actually delineate how the resources are going to be used in relation to that. So we look at data, we conduct a needs assessment, we look at data, we identify goals, and then we identify specific targets and actions to achieve those outcomes. So as I mentioned, they incorporate, all schools have taken a data-driven needs assessment, identified evidence-based practices and strategies for family and community engagement. In addition, each plan includes a budget, school site council membership details, and a signatures and assurance page. So this is the plan, and we say that the school plans for student achievement aren't a static document. We're not doing this for compliance. This is actually a living, breathing, amendable document that we adjust over time based on our data. So above and beyond submitting the plan, sites actually use this plan to drive improvement. And we use a cycle in the development of the plan where we review the data, we update goals, we align our budgets. The arrow you see right here is where we seek your approval on the process. And then we update the expenditures, we begin the SPSA budgets and actions for next year, and then we complete that cycle again. So where we are right now is board approval on the process each site went through in the development of their plans. So here we need board action. To verify the schools have completed the legal requirements. So the legal requirements are that the plan was developed collaboratively with the school site council. The Title I funds did not supplant general and base LCFF expenditures. And the plan was approved by the school site council prior to submission to the governing board. I'll open it up for any questions.
I'm going to go back to my question. Do all schools qualify for the Title I and the Title II and the Title III? Or just some of them, the Title IV?
All schools qualify for Title I funding, and the additional, and for Title II, and then Title III and IV, it's migrant. Is everyone? Okay. For the arts.
Any other questions, comments? Trustee Goldberg?
Thank you. You know, reviewing these plans and prep for the meeting, it seemed like there was an opportunity to distill them down into a scorecard, something really easy to post and interpret, right? Like reading those plans was a little tough. But I saw an opportunity to maybe articulate where the goals were, what the KPIs are, what the goal is, and then who's responsible for those achievements, you know, to funnel that all down so that the leaders at the schools can clearly communicate with their team, these are our goals, this is what we're driving towards. Have you seen that happen? Is that something that could be worth the effort to get everyone on the same page and make this living document a little more easy to engage with?
I think it's, well, there's the elements of the plan that we're required to complete and report to, obviously. The expenditures, the goals, the actions, the strategies, the analysis of the data. What the leaders are doing with the plan is critical, and they're bringing the plan to life in terms of how they're analyzing the data, the students that they need to serve, and how they're aligning their funds to ensure that it's aligned and supporting student groups accordingly. So in terms of minimizing the format of the document, I think we are bound by state requirements. However, what leaders do with the SPSA and bringing it to life and developing their comprehensive plans and doing so alongside parents and staff is essential, and probably more important than the plan itself. It really is. What do we do with it? Rather, above and beyond completing it and submitting it, it's how are we updating? And that cycle that I was referring to, it's continuous and constant. And so that is what we are addressing this year. Superintendent Hazel and I are going to be meeting with principals to talk about elements of the plan and how might we improve it to really have that laser-like focus on equity and the student groups, as you know, that we need to keep our eyes on.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Alrighty. It's recommended that the governing board approve the 2024-2025 school plan for student achievement for each school site. Talbot STEM Academy, La Paloma Elementary School, Live Oak Elementary School, May Ellis Elementary School, Mary Faith Pendleton, Potter Junior High School, San Onofre School, and William H. Frazier Elementary. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Thank you. I will call for the vote. Trustee Golbeck.
Aye.
Trustee Fish.
Aye.
Trustee McBride.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. First reading 2025-26 and 2026-27 instructional school calendars. It's just an information item. There's another information item on workshop and conference attendance. We're pleased to support our teachers and staff to continue their professional learning as they participate in conferences, enabling them to perform their duties and remain up to date on new policies and procedures impacting their roles. Another information item, parent and family engagement policy, which we've been talking about a lot this evening. Annually, our district's parent and family engagement policy is reviewed by our district advisory committee, and following this review, the policy is then provided to the governing board for information. The purpose of this document is to provide guidance to our schools who annually update and share their school engagement policy. This documents all the legal requirements for the receipt of federal title funding. This plan fulfills all the Education Code requirements and addresses all title statutes. We move on to the consent agenda. It's recommended that the governing board approve the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a motion?
I motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Okay. Any comments or questions? And I will call for a vote. Trustee Golbeck.
Aye.
Trustee McBride.
Aye.
Trustee Fish.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Consent agenda is approved. And that brings us to the end of our board meeting. And it is, looks like 7:51. Our meeting is, thank you.
That's a lot of work.
Holy moly.
A lot of work.
Good job.